Well, thank you, Madam Chair, and I'm pleased to be with you today with our first outing, and we do appreciate having you around. Senator Murray did a great job, and I know that you're going to step in and do also a great job. You've got a wonderful staff, as do I, that keep us out of trouble. Senator Senna and I served on Veterans Affairs together, and she's good about correcting me in a very gentle way. So we appreciate that. So I'd like also to extend a welcome to our witnesses and recognize the upcoming retirements. Congratulations, General Bana, for 37 years of service, and also Lieutenant General Vereen for more than 36 years of service. I thank both of you for your dedication and service, and I wish you well in your retirement. This year's budget request is $17.5 billion, a 6% decrease from the fiscal year 2024 enacted level of $18.7 billion. Although this request represents a 5% increase over last year's request, it continues the trend of having more expensive projects rather than a higher quantity of projects. Unfortunately, this isn't a surprise as inflation continues to drive up costs, and we continue to see larger and more complex projects in the budget. MilCon continues to make up 2% of the total DoD budget, even though we see a substantial backlog of requirements continue to increase. This year's MilCon projects on the unfunded priority list exceed $7 billion, the highest ever submitted. Adding to the backlog is disaster recovery in Guam, with early estimates as high as $50 billion. A bill like that cannot be absorbed within the traditional MilCon program. I'd like to hear from our witnesses how they intend to address disaster recovery, working with us so that we can plan that in the budgeting process. The program has continued to struggle from economic factors such as inflation and supply chain delays, and while it can take time for the MilCon process to respond to changing market conditions, the current environment is not new. While some cost fluctuation is expected, I hope this year's request accounts for the inflation we're continuing to see. Additionally, I'm concerned about scope and cost increases due to new statutory, regulatory, and policy requirements. Although early in their implementation, it appears that both electrification and project labor agreements could have significant impacts on project cost. Early data suggests that projects can increase by 30% to 200% after accounting for these requirements. That is simply unaffordable, and I'm worried about the effect these policies will have on the projects in this request as well as future budget requests. I hope the Department approaches these matters objectively and takes the waiver process very, very seriously. I look forward to hearing from our witnesses today and continue the dialogue and work needed for a successful MilCon program. I yield back, Chair.